What's up, everybody, and welcome to Mass Land Destruction, not the MLD cast. We're doing something different. This is going to be our first non-podcast video, and boy, are we going to have fun with it. We're going to do an exhaustive tier list. It's like 99% of all of the mechanics in Magic the Gathering history. I've left out like Vigilance, Lifelink, Flying, Trample, Haste, things
Yeah,
of
like
that
the
nature.
evergreen keywords that
There's a couple of the newer evergreen keywords. Like I think I put Menace in there, and Ward may or may not be in there. I spent 4 hours on this, and it was a long time. It was a lot because I had to do all of them individually, one at a time.
Yep.
So here is the catch. Here's the deal. We're gonna grab whatever's next in the list and rank it. It's your gut reaction of, I think I'm going from, it's Storm and then B, C, D.
Yeah, Storm
Jank,
A,
E.
B, C.
Oh, yeah.
Storm A, B, C, Jank, E.
And we'll just run it from the top. If we have a gross tie, we'll just put it in between what we both say.
Okay.
Also, when it comes to a debate, you get one card to push why like if I want it higher, if I think something is A tier and you think it's C tier, I get one card to convince you to come up to A tier.
Okay.
And then, so the same thing for you. If you think a mechanic is better than I do, you get one card to convince me why it's better. And then if we don't, we'll just tiebreaker it and slam in the middle.
Okay.
Now, if you will share your screen, good sir, and we'll get into it.
All right. So here's the tier list. So we're gonna start on kicker, huh?
I figure we start with kicker. Kicker is the only one that I hand placed myself. All of them are pretty much quasi-random after that. I picked kicker because obviously kicker is C, or kicker is B.
I think kicker is B to A, one of those two.
Yeah,
like high
I'm good
B.
with I'm
low
good
A.
with B. I said C because I thought it was my middle one, but I kind of have that extra one at the top with Storm, so I think kicker is completely B.
I mean, every mechanic is
Kicker,
every other mechanic is kicker with small
what
change,
was the other
right?
one? It's
So
kicker and something else. Everything is kicker and
I don't remember, but
yeah.
kicker is a lot of mechanics. So then we got morbid, which is just kicker with dead things.
No, don't do this. We can't start with this.
Morbid, I'm gonna say is like a C.
I'm good with C, 100%.
It's like one of those things where like it's fun and flavorful, but it's like hard to use in a lot of other like situations.
Yeah.
So
agree.
we got a morph. Morph is, I think it's like a jank situation.
I definitely agree with Jank. Only because of the newer face down mechanics they've come up with.
It's like every iteration of like morph, megamorph,
go ahead.
Manifest, like all those, I feel like are just improving upon morph as a mechanic.
Yeah, I think you're the same thing with Megamorph. Go ahead and slam it in Jank.
Yeah, it's like it. Oh, that was a merge. Megamorph. It's only slightly better than morph, but it's not good enough. I don't think, like, to be a whole tier better than morph. Because like there really only were like 2 or 3 important cards with Megamorph.
And the only difference was Megamorph had the +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, so it's kind of whatever. Bestow, I personally think this is like a B tier, almost.
I would go B or A and be totally fine with that.
I think it's a B tier because like it kind of fixes the enchantment problem to where like if they kill the creature, you still get a creature. No, I don't think it's better than kicker.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there then. Okay. Cleave?
Jank. Brother, this is a jank, brother.
Or I can go E with this as well. That'd be fine.
Yeah, you know what? E sounds right. Yeah, I think this was just like a bad limited environment mechanic that like was okay and limited, but it just really wasn't that good. Split cards / fuse mechanics. Now, are you talking about just like the split cards in general, or are you talking about the fuse? Because split cards in general,
they're kind of classified towards the same thing mechanic wise. Yeah. So we'll just rank them together, and either way, there's no way you convince me this is an A.
I like split cards. If split and fuse were two separately, I would go split B, A, B, fuse, because you can get both if you want to. But if we're ranking them both together, I think it just goes up to A.
Yeah, I think even With just one, I think it's still A because it's 2 cards in one.
Yeah.
Like it's just more in your hand. Celebration.
So this is one of those things where like I think the flavor of this carries it to like a B ish mechanic.
I think that's okay. I think this is somewhere in. I don't know. I could go more C just because this feels sort of morbidy.
Yeah, I mean celebration. I agree. It's kind of close to morbid. So maybe it should really just be a C mechanic.
Yeah, I think it's worse than morbid because doesn't it require a number of permanents to enter? It's not just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, morbid's just like, oh, a creature died, get wrecked.
Yeah. More than meets the eye, which you just put meets the eye, but it's fine.
It was too many words to fit on the thing.
I think this is like a C tier mechanic. Like I understand, but it's so limited. It's only on the Transformer cards. Like,
yeah, and like it's cool, it's flavorful. Like it's like a weird, like cast it for it's like a weird prototype.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's cool. I like that they transform. So like I'm fine. I think because prototype's better just because of the cards it comes on.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm fine with meets the eye as C.
MDFCs in general, like I would almost put this in the Storm category, but
1000% agree.
But I think like it's probably more conservative to be A because to me like Storm is like probably too busted, whereas A is like the perfect mechanic.
The MDFCs have changed the game so much. They've made deck building more consistent. They are, I mean, and a lot of them are cool. Like we have all kinds of different. We have double land MDFCs. We have spell land MDFCs. We have creature land MDFCs. We have creature planeswalker MDFCs. Like, this A is good for me.
Manifest. We're just gonna put that in the jank pile. No, I'm willing to put Manifest in the C pile because it's like to me it's a better mechanic because you can still get the card upside down even though it's random.
Yeah, and I like it better than meets the eye.
Yeah. I'm really not going to organize these by like because these are going to get like crazy, right?
It's going to get nuts. Yeah.
There's 90 of these things, so
there's more than 90.
Yeah, Fertel, I'm kind of down with a B. I think
I'm only down with the B if we put plot at A.
If we would put plot at A,
yeah, because I think plot is strictly better than Fertel. So wherever Fertel is at, I want plot to be one above it.
I don't think plot is better than Fertel because the card is face up.
But the bad guy always reveals his plot.
I guess that's fair. Like
the fact that Fertel is mana and then more mana is what makes it strictly worse than plot, and I think is why if we put this
plot. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay. So when we find plot, it'll go into A. I don't feel like digging through here.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
Convoke A. I think Convoke's an amazing mechanic.
1,000,000%.
Disguise is just morph.
I think it's better though, because you get the ward too.
Yeah, but it's still jank. Either way. I don't think it's going up a tier because you get the ward too. I don't think there's any card that Disguise is on that's mattered. And I think that's the thing for me.
So then Cloak will be the big one that goes up the tier then.
I actually don't agree. I think they're going to be better than Morph. I think Disguise and Cloak are going to be better than Morph and Megamorph. But I think that they're still all kind of janky because of the nature of the ability.
The face down, yeah. Fair enough. Oh, Cloak is the next one.
Yeah. So now we got Renown. This is the +1/+1 counter one, and I don't really like this one. I personally don't like this effect at all. Like to me, this is like a C. Like at best. Like I can't think of a single card where Renown like was such a large thing that like it mattered.
Give me a card that had it on there.
Trying to remember what the white one was because there's only one that I can think of off the top of my head that like saw play. Give me a second.
Okay, it's from Magic Origins. It's when they deal damage, they get this is kind of fun. Like you deal damage and you get +1/+1 counters equal to your Renown amount.
Yeah, but only once. And like it's like okay.
But like a 1-mana 1/1 becoming a 1-mana 3/3 is kind of cool. Like if that's the case. But I will I think we could safely agree. What did you say you wanted to put it on?
Like I'm in like a jank area for this.
Okay.
Jank to C, but C is pushing it for me.
Let's go C. I feel C is better than Jank because it does do something, and then there are things with +1/+1 counter synergies.
I guess it does. There's enough +1/+1 counter synergies where like the ability is better. So I guess so. But granted, +1/+1 counter synergies doesn't count for Megamorph, so that thing's staying in the jank pile. Affinity Storm Scale, that's going right up to Storm. That effect is nuts.
Yeah.
That ability is stupid. Emerge. I want to put that to like a B or an A. I think this design was really fun and really intuitive.
I'm good with A.
I think Emerge was really fun. I think it was one of those mechanics that like it got the juices flowing when like in certain like standard situations. So
it's fair cost reduction.
Yeah, Elder Deep Fiend was like sometimes miserable to play against, but it was still also not the worst thing I've played against, right? So I think that's a good situation. Surge, I want to put Surge swiftly into C. I don't think it's necessarily jank because there are like cards like the counterspell with Surge that are like good, but I think that it's still one of those really niche things that you don't really see that much.
I agree. I think the having to have some secondary requirement to get, I mean, cost reduction is cost reduction, right? But like the requirement of it basically has to be your second spell each turn in a single player format, but and I mean, it's only for Two-Headed Giant is the only other way it works. So
yeah. Spectacle, I did like this.
I think Spectacle is absolutely A tier.
Really? Prove me wrong, because I'm thinking it's like a C-ish.
It was standard lightning bolt. What's the card, the impulse draw one? Like those are the two good ones, right? Like skewer the critics and light up the stage. Like those cards are still good. Those cards are still relevant.
I guess you're right. Those cards made this mechanic good. So like,
and you're running red. So like there's nothing that stops you from turn 2 swing in with the monetary spear or whatever.
I still think I'm sitting at a B though.
Why? I mean, yes, it's only 2 cards that are good, but it's also basically free cost reduction.
Because you still have to like do damage to get it, and it has to be combat damage. So like there is hoops you have to jump through that might not always be like readily available.
It's only if an opponent lost life. It is not.
I guess you're right.
Combat damage.
I guess you can like burn them with like a life loss spell and get it, like the black one. I forget the name of it. That does 3 damage.
My personal favorite. Just play a.
I'm okay with A, but I'm not. I'm still like that one's hard. That one's hard iffy on me. I'm still like, maybe.
Okay. I can. I'll take it. I'll take my A.
This next one is a commander only mechanic, and
it's silly.
It's silly, but I want to put it at B. Myriad.
The creatures that have Myriad, Blade of Selves, absolutely B is fine.
I don't think it's like anything super good. Oh, excuse me. Flanking, brother. Flanking.
They're all here, man.
We're gonna hit the jank. Here. I'm hitting the jank immediately on flanking.
Flanking is when they block. When you block, you get -1/-1. Flanking
is the if I remember correctly, let me double check so I don't misspeak. Because there's 2 of these that do this weird thing that when your creature is blocked.
No. Yeah, flanking is when a creature that blocks a creature with flanking, it gets -1/-1.
Yeah. I don't like this because this is like to me this is like I would put this in E. Like that's how bad I don't like this.
Oh come on, it's not E bad. It's definitely jank bad.
No, I think it's E bad. I wouldn't build a deck like with cards with flanking unless there's a specific reason to.
Massacre Girl.
Still don't care.
Block me with your 1/1. It's a 0/0, and I draw a card.
I still don't care.
No, fair enough.
Undaunted.
Do you even know what that does?
Not off the top of my head. You got this one. This one's of the mechanics that I'm not 100% sure.
So this mechanic was last used in Baldur's Gate. It was created in 2016.
Which one is this one?
Spell Undaunted. This spell costs 1 mana less to cast for each opponent.
Oh. Jank.
Jank is good.
Bushido. Another blanking required. I'm going to go with E. It's a mechanic that you can't control whether or not you get the effect of ever.
Fair.
So, Rampage. E. Again.
What does Rampage do for the folks at home?
It. Okay, let me get the exact wording because I'm going to word this wrong if I just say it off the top of my head. But it's
so bad.
it's infinitely one of the worst things. So whenever this creature becomes blocked, it gets whatever the number is. So sometimes there's like Rampage 1, Rampage 2. So it gets plus X, whereas the X is the Rampage number until the end of turn for each creature blocking it beyond the first. So it has to be double blocked for this to even do anything. And that's just bad. Unless you have a card with Rampage and like Menace, this is bad. But guess what? We don't have a card with Rampage and Menace unless you build your own Build-A-Bear. So this is going to go right in the E pile because this is hot caca. Background A.
1,000%.
Hardpoint A. Unearth. I'm also on the A pile. I think Unearth is fun. Flashback for creatures is fun, and it plays very well.
Yeah.
Discover Cascade with upside. We're gonna put that in the B category. I'll put it in the A category. You're right. Yeah. Cascade with upside. It's in the A. It's all close to Storm, but
yeah.
I'm gonna put
Discover.
Freeze. It's a Storm. It's a Storm. It's a free spell.
The putting it in your hand is what I think puts it to Storm.
Yeah. Eminence Storm because it's stupid in Commander. Like Eminence is a stupid ability. And yeah, so I'm putting it right in the Storm.
Fair enough.
There's like one card that has Eminence that's like actively mediocre, and that's because they went out of their way to make sure it was mediocre because every other card with Eminence was too good.
Yeah, the two Eminence cards off the top of my head are a problem.
Edgar Markov and the Ur Dragon and the Araboshu Lion's Roar or whatever, the cat Selesnya cat one is really, really good. The Night one is the worst one.
Knights always get the short end of the stick.
Aftermath. I don't know. You tell me. How you feel about Aftermath?
So Aftermath is the weird. It's a split card, but you can't cast the second half until it's in your graveyard. The second half has flashback.
Pretty much, yeah.
Some of these cards are really good.
Cut to Ribbons comes to mind.
Yeah. Commit to Memory.
Yeah.
I like B on this.
Yeah, I can see B. It's one of those mechanics that has like a clear downside, but also has a very clear like play pattern. So it's fun. Eternalize for the same reason I'm going to put it in B. It's like it's like kind of like Unearth. The reason why Unearth isn't A is because it gives the creature haste.
Yeah. Eternalize is the one that makes it.
It makes it a 4/4 like the zombie tokens, like the zombie version of them, and then they usually have effects that get better when they get eternalized, like Champion of Wits. You can draw up to its power, and if you do, discard 2 cards. So that's pretty good. I think Cycling is an A tier ability.
I agree.
It's just a good ability.
It's solid.
There's a bunch of different versions of it: basic land cycling, land cycling, forest cycling, whatever. And I think they're all like useful in their own right. Storm goes in Storm. That's pretty clear.
I disagree. I think Storm is jank. I'm kidding.
Moving on, Collect Evidence.
I love Collect Evidence. I think this is strongly B tier.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I feel like it's a B tier effect. Like you need that number. You need that number of mana cost to like make it worth it. But though. The cards that's on, like I'm thinking the Black Wrath that's pretty good. Granted, we haven't seen much of those cards see play, but to be fair, we were in a very, very powerful standard, and
Yeah.
a lot of those powerful cards are
and
rotating out.
This, like,
So
this isn't necessarily about the cards it's on either. Like just how the mechanic itself works is.
yeah,
And I think the graveyard is a resource, and this makes a use of that resource that also can't be responded to.
yeah.
So, and I think that is the other thing that makes it strongly B tier.
Assist. Do you remember what assist does?
No, it is from Battle Bond. It's a Battle Bond exclusive mechanic. Another player can pay up to X of this spell's cost.
I don't like it.
I think this is jank, mostly because it's Battle Bond, but like it's cool that we as a team can pay for an expensive spell together.
Yeah, I put commit a crime in B, by the way. I think committing crimes is humongously flavorful.
I love it. It's so both pre-releases I played for OTJ. Every time somebody's like, "I will commit a crime," I'm like, "Ah, you criminal!" just from across the store.
Support feels like a C to me. I like support, but it's not like inherently powerful.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like another ETB effect. It's kind of boring-ish, but it does its thing. Spell Mastery.
Storm.
I liked Spell Mastery. I don't think it's Storm. I think it's A.
Why
Storm is too
don't
much.
you? I mean, but it
So like to me, like
I'm mixing this up with Magecraft. Sorry.
okay,
Spell Mastery.
Spell Mastery is the bonus, like the additional better effect if you have the Spell Mastery thing, like the one that gets 3/4 instead.
Yeah. I was definitely thinking of Magecraft.
Yeah, split second, Storm.
Storm. Yep.
Easy. Easy.
Much.
Encore. This is like a commander only real mechanic, and I kind of want to say it's like a C tier. Like it's kind of okay.
Isn't Encore the one that the Sliver Grave Mother has?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's 3 mechanics in one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can put Unearth at A and then say that Encore is anything lower than B.
I guess that's fair.
Like, yeah, like because it's Myriad Unearth. Like,
yeah. I guess I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Devotion. Now, as a mechanic, not based on power level, I want to say this is Storm or A. I think Devotion is like proven itself to be a very fun mechanic. There's a lot of cards that like do really well with Devotion.
I think Storm is fair with this. I think Nykthos is what pushes it.
Nykthos is the card. So Addendum. I think this is a jank effect if I've ever remembered one.
Those weird poor.
You have to cast it during your main phase to get the effect, if I remember correctly.
See, I like this though. Like I thought it was fun. It was just like a cool extra, like because sometimes you do just have to cast the instant at sorcery speed. So like, why
it's
not?
Fun
get
to get a random bonus, but like it's one of those things where it's like, I can do without it. The only card with an addendum that I think matters in the slightest is emergency powers.
Sphinx's Insight.
Emergency powers.
4 mana
I've never seen Sphinx's Insight.
Yeah.
What I have seen is emergency powers.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you can have jank because you probably can't get you to move it to C.
Adamant. I'm adamant that addendum is jank. Adamant. This I'm almost in jank with this one too, buddy.
I think you're probably right.
I don't like it. It's one of those things where I can't think of a single card with Adamant that I would want to play. Like unless I specifically
I'll be real with you, I can't think of a single card with Adamant. So
it's going in jank, baby. Moving on.
Going in jank.
Sunburst. I think this is a B level mechanic. I think this was a lot of fun, but I don't think it was like necessarily super powerful.
I agree with that. I think it was a very fun mechanic.
Yeah. Converge. I think that's kind of the same thing though. Like
I think let me check the wording.
bring to light is fire. Like
Yeah, it is. Uh, converge is converge. Yeah, for each color of mana spent to cast it. So it is.
it's kind of sunburst without
on-
counters.
Yeah. So I think we can slam it in B as
Yeah.
well.
I'm feeling like a B. Bargain. I think it's a B also. It's a good mechanic. You need fodder for it, but it's a good, fun, flavorful mechanic.
The bargain spells are still good without the bargain. The bargain just makes them better.
Yeah.
And I think because it kind of feels similar to Morbid. Like if you have the thing to sack, like, I mean, okay, it's kicker. It's put it in the kicker category.
It's kicker. It's just
Originally,
kicker.
I did have a kicker category, and I was like, if I do that, we're just gonna put everything in kicker. So I did that for our brains.
Kicker plus. Conspire. Now, again, I can't think of a single card with Conspire that I care about.
Yeah. I couldn't either.
It's one of those things where I think jank is where it goes.
I like. Well, let's talk. Okay, hold on. Before we just commit it to jank,
Okay.
because it is kind of a free spell mechanic. Like you do get to copy the spell if you conspire, and I think that is good. Just because they didn't print it on anything that is necessarily good doesn't.
That's fair. I guess I'm willing to put it in C because it's a mechanic that's decent, but it doesn't have any good support for it.
Yeah.
Cascade is in Storm. Storm.
No, Cascade goes in A because they power crept it.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm willing to put it down in A, but it's still a ridiculously powerful mechanic.
Cascade is still one of the one of the most amazing, most powerful broken mechanics in the game, and then they just made it better with Discover. So I think that's if we put Discover in Storm, I think Cascade deserves to be an A simply because it has been power crept.
Demonstrates. This feels like a C mechanic to jank mechanic.
I like C. Because there's combos with it that do good things. In Commander, there's some good ones. I saw one today where it was Offspring and Conspire. You can give all your spells Conspire.
Yeah.
Or you give all your spells Offspring, not Conspire.
I know what you mean, yeah. I saw this today too.
Yeah, and you can make infinite Docksides. Menace.
I think this is a solid A mechanic. I think it's a good mechanic.
We have had multiple can't be blocked mechanics before, and or like evasion mechanics. This is one of the newer evergreen keywords that I kept in here just because it's kind of newer, and I think this is exactly what. Like it's like intimidate is okay.
Shadow, Skulk, like all these like pseudo unblockable if certain conditions are met, and this is the one that's like the least restrictive.
I think Shadow is giga bad, but yeah.
Yeah, but this one is like the least restrictive, and also it's like allowed to be. It's a better design space. I think it's like the player gets to play with the menace effect more often. They can play around that, and so can the opponent. But it leads to like more beneficial like game states for both players. So
like same color matches, like Intimidate doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
If we're both playing black
or artifacts,
but Menace still does. Or artifacts, yeah.
Yeah.
So I strong A on Menace.
So we're gonna go to Skulk. Skulk is one of those C things to me. I think it's like things with
it has to be 2 or less.
Yeah, and like why?
Well, I like it because it's like you could only block like flavor wise. There doesn't seem like there's ever a good reason for Skulk to exist.
Yeah.
But like I think it's a good mechanic, especially. But they didn't really put it on huge creatures.
Yeah, you have to like build your better Skulk card.
Yeah.
Spree. I think Spree's like a B tier mechanic. I think it's good.
It's kicker.
But it's just kicker.
It's just kicker.
It's a new evolution of kicker. Lieutenant, commander only product mechanic fun. I kind of like it as an A or a B. I'm
See,
willing
I
to
would
put it
go.
in B.
I kind of will say let's just go C with it because it doesn't like. I mean, come on, how many commander decks do we have?
A lot, and I put a
Ah,
lot of lieutenant cards in there.
Oh,
Like
okay.
like
I'll give you
the
B then. No, like you got me. If you put a lot in there, like I
like
don't ever use them.
Tyrant's Familiar is like an amazing card. If I plan on having my commander out, like Tyrant's Familiar is a card I will want to put in my deck, and it might get cut, but it's always one of the first cards I put in the deck.
Fair enough.
+2/+2 is haste is fire.
Yeah.
Buyback. There's a card I'm thinking about with buyback. Capsize.
Yeah.
And Clinging Mists. Fog with buyback or bounce all your things with buyback. So
I like A.
It's just kicker. So I'm gonna go in B.
Oh, okay.
It's just kicker.
Just kicker. Yeah.
Epic. This is a jank ass mechanic, dude.
Listen. I have the Epic Hive Mind deck. I've never won with it, but I have locked the game out twice with it.
It's still jank.
It's absolutely jank, but it is so much fun when it happens.
Yeah.
Like I think it's even worse than jank. I think this is an E mechanic. Like
That's fair. I'll put it in E. I'm willing to put it in E.
Yeah, this is an E mechanic if they've ever made one.
All right. Then we got Clash. I like Clash, but I feel like it's more of a C mechanic.
I agree. It's really funny. I like these fun, like random mechanics that do like it's like, you have to win a random nonsense thing to get it to work.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I'm 100% good with C.
Raid. I liked Raid, and I think Raid is a B tier mechanic.
Just because you don't have to connect, it just checks for
you just
the
have
attack.
to attack. Yeah.
I agree.
Like Charter Course is an amazing card, and like there's other ones, but Charter Course is like the main one that pops in my head. That's been like relatively good ever since it's been printed.
Yeah,
Rebound. This is an A tier mechanic for me. I like Rebound a lot.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like free spells?
Like, you just get to cast the spell again for free next turn. Yeah, like it's pretty good.
Did you say solid A?
Yeah, solid A. Connive.
Solid A.
Yeah, it's a solid A. I'm just have Rafine flashbacks. So
Rafine makes me feel Stormy on it, to be honest.
But that's just because Rafine. Like the other cards with Connive aren't as good. Like the best other card with Connive, and this is gonna sound crazy, but like the best other card with Connive that does Connive as much as Rafine does is Illuminator Virtuoso, and that card's not good. It's the double striker that connives every time you cast a spell that targets it. So like you just get to make it big.
I mean, Ledger Shredder is pretty good.
Yeah, true. So Cypher, Jank.
I like Jank just because it's actually just there's two good Cypher cards and the Cypher's just is silly.
Exert. I'm putting that in the B tier. I think Exert was really fun.
Some of the cards that have Exert are fantastic.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and put this next one in Jank.
Horsemanship? Yeah.
Okay, it's not really Jank, it's flying. Like
yeah, but it's flying that was only printed in one set.
Yeah.
Shadow. I hate this mechanic.
I hate it. Like
it's bad.
It's intimidate, but your creature is also intimidated.
Yeah.
So I hate that.
Yeah. Fear, I want to put in B. It's all right mechanic, but it's just another unblockable variant that's worse than Menace, in my opinion.
And it's so intimidate is the same color.
Fear is black specifically.
Yeah, so I think I like. Yeah, I'll probably honestly put an intimidate in the same category when we get to it.
Saddle. This is like a fun mechanic. It's not good. I kind of want to put it in C.
The blink guy with saddle is
all right.
Absurd. Yeah.
I think the best saddle card is Calamity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the horse.
Hmm.
The yeah. Is the horse good enough to make it B?
I don't
Like
think so.
if it weren't a sorcery speed mechanic, it would be one thing. But yeah, okay, C's fine.
I think I want to put crew in B, and that makes me put saddle in C.
I don't think I put crew in here. I'll be honest with
Okay,
you.
well, crew to me would be a B or an A, if it's in here.
I don't think it is.
Reinforce. What you thinking? Because I'm thinking a
uh,
hard C-ish.
I think I agree with you. Let me double check the wording on it. Reinforce. Discard this card. Put N+1/+1 counters on target creature. I like this. Yeah, I think I could go B or C.
I think it's a C.
I like that it's counters. So here's my problem with putting it in C. Blood Rush is in here, and this is strictly better than Blood Rush.
But I still think. I guess you're right. There wasn't like, as if I look at cards between this and like Blood Rush, right?
Blood Rush had some amazing.
Blood Rush had
cards.
some bangers.
This is a Morning Tide mechanic as the other thing. Like Gruul cards are okay. Okay, fine. Let's put this down lower because they're weaker overall. They have more longevity in their damage, but Blood Rush is now. Like Blood Rush is here's a 4/4 with trample.
Yeah. Prowl, I think this is like a jank mechanic. It needs to be fairies.
I like the dinosaurs that have it from the Jurassic Park set.
Yeah, I guess. But no.
Fair enough. Prowl works for me.
Initiative, Storm. This mechanic took over Legacy.
Yeah, it did. Meld?
Meld, I like Meld a lot. I think like flavor-wise, to me, it's a B or an A. I think there's
flavor-wise, but power-wise, this is jank.
Power-wise, it's jank, but yeah, like flavor. That's what we're going on. So here. we'll put it in C. All right, because it's in between jank and B. Investigate. I think this is an A tier mechanic.
I agree. I mean, all it does is make a clue token, but yeah, clues are fire.
Clues are fire. Scry. This is a storm mechanic.
Are we gonna put Surveil? Okay, which one do you prefer, Scry or Surveil?
The reason why I put Scry and Storm is Scry became Evergreen. Was good enough that they decided they'd make it Evergreen, where Surveil is not Evergreen. It is Evergreen, but it's not printed as often, I guess, is more correct.
Yeah.
Venture into a dungeon, I want to put into A.
Yeah.
It's slightly worse. It's slightly worse initiative, but initiative is still.
You can't interact with it. Nothing that the venturing into the dungeon does is interactable.
Yep. Parlay. This is one of those fun. I almost kind of want to say like this is like a C tier mechanic, but it's like a commander only type of thing.
I like Parlay. My group hug deck is the Selvala with Parlay. Yeah. I want you to go B tier with it just because it's fun, it's engaging, and it has strictly with Selvala, it has good payoffs. Like Fair. Either way, yeah. Like
I can see that. Overload, to me, this is like an A or this is a kicker. This is a kicker mechanic, but I think it's slightly better.
Just because kicker doesn't like none of the kicker spells are usually this drastic of
an effect.
Like Cyclonic Rift,
yeah,
Mizzium Mortars, dude. When Counterflux counters a lot of things on the stack, it's amazing.
True. Heroic. This is one of those I kind of think like. Okay, I'm gonna put it in B.
I like it in B. I was thinking I like this in B.
The reason why my reasoning is that while it's strong, I don't like the way the deck is built to function around it. It's a bunch of single target spells that target your own dudes, or do like target your own dude effects. So like I kind of don't like it.
I think the flavor of the mechanic is really strong
too.
Like you are making this one creature the main character.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I like it.
Like the only reason why I wouldn't put this in A is because I think the deck building aspect of it is less fun. Because they're just the right cards to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Learn. This is a jank mechanic.
This is okay. So learn is just we have Wish at home.
It's that or draw a card, discard a card. It's either a loot or it's get to cast a random spell from your sideboard.
Or do you just put it in your hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Draw a
the
card from your
gather,
sideboard or draw a discard card.
but the some of the learn cards are decent. The one that makes all the tokens, the colorless one that makes the
The
mascot
7-drop.
tokens.
The 7-drop. Yeah.
That one's kind of fire. But okay, Jank's fine. I talked myself into Jank.
Adventure is an A mechanic. I don't think there's any argument about that.
I could argue Storm.
I'm not willing to go to Storm. I don't think it's on the level of Affinity or Split Second,
Yeah.
but I think that it is close. Like I'd be willing to put it like at the beginning of A tier.
I'm fine with A tier.
Afterlife.
This is a jank old mechanic. When a creature dies, you get 1/1 spirits that fly. Yeah, jank.
Ferocious.
Ferocious.
I'm kind of sitting here at a C.
I think you're probably right, but this is going to be another wording check because sometimes you look over these.
Right?
Yeah, it is power 4 or greater.
Yeah.
I
mean, Stubborn Denial is a card. Biorhythm is a creature.
What rank did you say?
I said C.
I think I'm fine with C.
It's all right. It has its uses, but it's not like
a deck for
dummy
it. There's
strong.
a deck for it. Yeah.
Goad, I want to put Goad in B because I feel like Goad is one of the funnest commander mechanics that they've come out with.
I think they've made some problematic commanders to go with Goad, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that it is like super powerful in of itself, but I think that it is fun enough that it deserves a B ranking.
You're gonna have to fight me on this next one because
ninjutsu?
if you don't give me ninjutsu A, we're gonna have a problem. They had to change the rules of the game because of this mechanic.
I'm okay with ninjutsu being A, but I think it's a low A.
I can agree with that.
It's like one of those low A either or really high Bs.
The ninjutsu is really strong the first time because they really don't expect it, but then from then on, it's like crap. I have to block this, or I'm gonna get ninja'd. Yeah.
Miracle, I think Miracle from a design standpoint is strictly A.
I mean, I agree. I played Miracle Standard. I think that flipping the Miracle 9 times out of 10 won you the game.
It was a fun mechanic to like build around. The Legacy deck was a little annoying, but like it was a fun mechanic, and I think that it design wise it nailed it went right out of the park. So Madness, I think this is a B mechanic. It's
kind of jank. The things that have madness on them are good. There's nothing worse than when your opponent wants to get the Eldrazi out of your hand, but if they do, you're gonna cast it. So
yeah, I think Madness is one of those things that like can be sneakily good because I've cast a Lightning Axe in my time and discarded a Madness card to it, and I felt nigh unstoppable.
Madness gives everything flash. It gives whatever you discard flash. All Madness spells have flash innately, and I think that that's relevant.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of on a B here. I think it's better than Jank, and I think it's better than C.
I'm good with B. I'm really good with B.
Delirium, I kind of want to put it A. I think this is a great design mechanic. It's a nice build around, and you get a nice effect. Revolt, I think, goes into C naturally because it's just morbid, slightly worded differently.
Yes, it's any permanent. I think if we were gonna change, if we were caring about where they were positioned in the tiers, this would go ahead of morbid.
Yeah. Partner I think Partner's a storm mechanic. I think it's one of those things that like they physically had to go back to the drawing board and say, we can't let partner with any card with partner anymore. Like we have to make it so they can only partner with certain cards because this is getting out of hand.
I love partner. I think partner was good for the health of commander overall. Even partner with, which I think is still just as good.
Yeah.
But
Like
yeah,
even like the Friends Forever versions of partner, like
which
there's
is
like
just Friends Forever. Yeah,
it's just partner, but instead of partner, it's
specific.
Friends Forever.
I don't think I put Friends Forever in here, but I do think Doctor's Companion is in here because I think it has more nuance to it than partner, and I kind of wanted to talk about it.
I think that like partner is the one that started like the whole background, the whole Doctor's Companion, the whole Friends Forever kind of style of thing, and I think like it did enough to change the format to where I think it deserves the Storm scale.
Yeah.
Celebration is on here twice.
Whoops.
So
there was a lot of these. Sorry about that.
We're gonna put this down here. Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell.
It's just convoke for artifacts.
Yeah, I think this is a solid B tier mechanic.
Did we put convoke in B?
We haven't done convoke yet, did we?
Yeah, we did. Convoke is in A.
Convoke is in A, but convoke is easier to do than improvise. Like in most decks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Join forces. This feels like a jank because almost all the time when you do this, like if either everybody does it or nobody does it. There's no in between.
Yeah. I love Minds Aglow.
Yeah, it's either everybody draws a crap ton of cards or ramps a crap ton of lands, and you just ramp triple the lands, or nobody does it and you ramp one land. Like, tempting offer, I think, is the same way. I think it's okay. It's a jank mechanic.
I disagree. I think it's at least C, because even if but it's tempting offer, I'm thinking of tribute.
Yeah, tribute is the sacrifice, and then you get the effect, or the plus one counter.
Yeah, the opponent. Yeah, tempting offer is the land. Tempt with discovery.
Yeah,
this is better than jank. This is a C mechanic.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's a commander mechanic, but at the same time, like, how many? Okay, but really, how many times do I cast Tempt for Discovery and I don't get all the lands?
Exactly.
I like this. Like the mechanic is good, and that like because you want to go get the land.
It's just I'm willing to move this up to C only because that one card is like it's better. This mechanic is better than Join Forces.
Yes.
That's the only reason I'm willing to put it up one.
Yeah, but yes, I agree.
Sweep, I think, is an E mechanic. I don't like this mechanic at all.
Fair enough. I don't really think there's a whole lot. I can't even think of a card with sweep.
Channel. This is like a B or a C. I like the mechanic a lot. I think it's a lot of fun to play with. I think it's
B. I think it's strong B. I think everything that has channel can't be responded to, like it can't be countered. Like I think it's
you're not casting a spell, just putting an ability on the stack.
Yeah. It turns dead cards in your hand into it's more consistency and variation. Like it's just kind of like for split spells. God, do I think channel's A?
I don't think channel's A.
Okay.
I think there's enough like medium to bad cards in channel.
And then there's $30 lands in channel.
Yeah, there's like a couple of good cards, but
the turtle.
Descend, I'm kind of in jank with this one. It's like one of those things where I think it's pretty much the same thing as Revolt.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's late Revolt. It's Revolt for creatures that are on the battlefield, but not. Yeah, I think. I mean,
I think it's worse Revolt.
Yeah, because your opponent can remove the descend creature before the trigger goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can put it in jank.
Like also, descend didn't get a fatal push.
True. Join Forces is on here a second time. Whoopsie doodle.
Get out of here. Expend. Is that the new one?
Yes.
Is that the one from Bloomberg that you're doing? The spend X amount of mana.
I took out all of them, but this one, because I really think that this is an interesting mechanic, and it was kind of just a chance to talk about it and how, because of all of the Bloomburrow mechanics, I think this might be like end up being one of the strongest ones.
I think this is like a firmly in jank based on the cards that we have. I don't think
Yes,
any of the cards that we have currently are good, but it doesn't mean that they can't change my mind by printing two very, very good expend spells.
I agree. And I guess this is one of the most like, because Offspring is just squad, um, Forage is just bargain, like Expend is like kind of something new.
Yeah.
Like it's something that checks how much mana you've spent in a turn, and I think that that is something new and interesting and worth. This is gonna be one that after we get the whole set, we come back and look and be like, man, like we said, Expend was kind of jank, and it turned out to be like really good.
It's possible. Offering. This feels like this is a jank mechanic. I don't think this mechanic's good.
I like Betrayers of Kamigawa. Yeah, I don't think I could tell you a single card that has this on it.
I remember the art of a card that has this on it, and I don't think it matters.
What is a card that has this on it? Oh, old Kamigawa card. Oh, there's specific creatures you have to sack to it. Yeah, it gives it flash if you sack the creature. Jank is fine.
It's jank worse champion.
Yeah.
Undying, this to me is an A tier mechanic.
I could go A. I could go B with it.
Hellbent.
I think Persist is B.
Yeah, I can go there. Hellbent, I think this is another A tier mechanic.
Really?
Yeah, I like Hellbent a lot.
I mean,
it builds a fun like deck building problem that you want to solve while playing the game, but also like it gives you benefits for being at the worst air quotes position you can be in the game.
That was kind of my problem with it, and why I was thinking this was going to be a strong E tier for both of us because it goes actively against what we're trying to do in the game.
But the benefits, a lot of the benefits are solid.
They're gas. Do you want to go B? Can we agree to B?
Yeah, I can go down to B. Commit a Crime is on here twice.
Yeah, look, it took me 4 hours. Some of them are going to be on here twice.
Outlaw. Party 2.0.
Yeah.
But less party matters cards.
The flavor is fun. The set that it came out with is fun. Looking at the Bloomburrow spoilers we have at this point, there's a lot of outlaws in it. Like all the squirrels and raccoons are like warlocks.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in C.
I'd like C.
Toxic.
Okay, here's how I feel about this. Toxic goes in C, or Toxic goes in B. Infect goes in A, and then the other two go in C.
Like Wither and XYZ.
Poisonous, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. Explore.
A has to be.
I agree. I think Explore is a great mechanic. It's a fun build around mechanic. Faithful Hour is a jank mechanic.
No, I push it to C.
Give me why, because you got to prove.
So Fateful Hour is the cards that it's are on aren't necessarily bad. The one that makes tokens is really strong. It was really strong at the time in Standard anyway, because you're running Orzhov tokens. But if you get in that predicament where Faithful Hour triggers, it's nothing but upside. These are cards that are good early game, and they can be better late game. But if you're ahead, you're ahead, and Fateful Hour doesn't matter anyway. But if you're behind, making, God, what is it, 10 tokens instead of 2 is absurd.
Yeah, I can see that.
This is a catch-up mechanic. I honestly wish WotC would make some more catch-up mechanics. So I like to see this one do its thing.
So you say you want to put it in C?
I want to put it in C.
All right, I'm okay with C. I still think it's like low C, but whatever. Haunt, I want to put this in E. I think this mechanic's bad. E.
This mechanic sucks so bad. It's worse than the next one on the list.
I think Ascend is jank.
I think Ascend is. I don't. Okay, like Jank makes sense, but like Ascend is also just a free mechanic. Like it doesn't. You
The
don't have
thing
to
is that
do anything to
there
get
aren't
it.
good cards with Ascend. Like the best card with Ascend is Wayward Swordtooth.
I was gonna say it's the land where you have to pay 6 mana to draw a
5
card.
mana to draw a card. But that's what I mean. It's like there's no like good cards with Ascend.
Yeah.
And Wayward
No,
Swordtooth's only good because playing the additional land gets you to Ascend faster.
I'm good with Ascend. I'm good with Ascend and Jank.
Dethrone. I like this in like a B tier mechanic.
I do too. Only because because Monarch isn't just a single, or is it just a commander mechanic? You can play it in Modern. Is it Modern or is it Legacy?
Well, Dethrone's not even a Monarch specific situation. It's just whoever has the highest life total. So like in Commander, you attack the player with the highest life total and you get the Dethrone trigger.
Wait, isn't there not? Well, I thought there was one for.
No.
Okay.
Dethrone was the original conspiracy mechanic where you didn't have
okay.
Monarch yet. You just attacked the player with the highest life total or tied with the highest life total.
And did they reword it to make it include?
No, not at all.
Oh. Well, then I'm just dumb. Okay.
Dash. I like this as a B mechanic. I think there's plenty of good cards with it, but that's not really why. I think that Dash is like one of those fun mechanics that you can use in a very smart way.
It dodges sorcery speed removal.
Yeah, things like Kolaghan being able to dash in Standard was really, really good because you just avoided sweepers.
I mean, look at Ragavan.
True. Radiance, buddy.
So Radiance is a jank mechanic.
Yeah, I almost wanted to put it in E. I don't like it. The ring tempts you. This is to me is like a C because I love the flavor of it.
I do too. I think it has some. I could almost go B if you wanted to because I think it has some. It does some really fun combo enabling that only it can do. It gives you a lot of good things. It gives you a loot. It gives you unblockable. It gives you.
No, it gives you Skulk.
It gives you Skulk. It gives you the loot.
And then the 3 life.
Yeah, the bonus, other things. This could be B. I think this could be B, but no problem. If the only thing that makes it B is Boromir, then that's what makes it B.
I guess, and the black white Frodo is kind of good.
Yeah.
So
that's why it died as soon as you played it.
Daybound, Nightbound, E tier mechanic. Get this mechanic out of my game. This mechanic is so annoying. Get it out. It's good flavorful, right? But the flavor will not save you from how annoying the play pattern is.
Oh no, it won't. And like I like werewolves. But like I think what really kills Daybound Nightbound is the other werewolves didn't get errata to function the same way.
Yeah, so now it's just confusing.
Yeah.
Monarch's an A tier mechanic. I think this is one of the best mechanics they've created. It's a lot of fun. It's great to play with in Commander. Detain, this feels like a C tier mechanic. It's like worse stun.
I like
in a lot of cases.
So it's better than stun because it shuts off abilities.
I guess you're right there.
So let's do this one in B.
I think stun is also just a B tier mechanic.
Yeah, I do too.
I think also that stun hasn't seen a good card with stun until one of the new Bloomburrow cards. I think there's this frog that like 4 mana taps down a thing, puts 3 stun counters on it, and draws you a card.
Yes.
On enters, and that's ridiculously good. So like
I played a lot of Detain when it was in Standard too. So I really like it because it just ended up like, oh boy, that's a scary thing.
Detain. Corrupted. C. I was gonna say C. I think it's like it's a fun mechanic, but it's not. It's kind of like one of those. Once you get to Corrupted, it becomes very easy to end the game.
Yeah.
But getting to Corrupted is always the difficult part, right? Mentor also feels like a C mechanic. It's either that or Jank. It's C or Jank. I'm not sure which one.
It's like, I think it's Jank just because if I'm remembering correctly, a lot of the creatures that had it weren't huge.
Like the Aurelia was like the best one that had it.
Yeah. Like there's a couple that like you could, it's like.
It's the opposite of training. It's like, it's It's literally the opposite of training. Mentor, you put the +1 counters on a creature lesser. Training has to attack with a creature with bigger power.
Yeah, I will put this in jank because I think you're right. And when we get to training will go up.
Annihilator, I
Storm.
want to put this in Storm. This mechanic is ridiculously good.
You don't know how many shops I've been to where there's just like Annihilator doesn't work. Like your Eldrazi's Annihilators don't trigger when they attack.
Yeah. Training.
We went jank with that. I think this is strictly C.
Transmute. This is one of those C tier mechanics to me. It's fun. You pay the cost, you discard the card, you get the transmute, but really it's kind of like whatever.
It's like worse. It's worse than Discover. Well, no,
Like-
because it's a tutor. It's a tutor. It's an uncounterable tutor.
Yeah, but there's not good cards with transmute besides like
True.
Teleria West, and that's a
Yeah.
land.
Correct.
Exalted. I love this
A tier.
mechanic. I think this is an
A
A
tier.
tier mechanic. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily because of like power in this situation. I think it's because of like the card pool it has is very good, very fleshed out. It does a lot of very cool things, and it's fun to play with.
Exalted allows you to do a lot of damage and hold back blockers.
Yeah, it's like
I
baby's first combat math. Like
Yeah.
Soul Bond, I also want to put in A. It's a lot of fun to play with.
I love this mechanic. I love the cards that came with it. That was my favorite time in Standard.
Battle Cry, I think this is an A tier mechanic. I think Battle Cry is fun.
Battle Cry is exalted, but that creature has to attack as well.
Yeah, attacks with you, and
Yeah,
all
and
creatures that
buffs the
attacks
board.
with it gets
Yeah.
+1/+0 until end of turn. I think that's fine. Phasing,
This is a jank mechanic. It's so goofy with how it works with everything.
so
Like,
phasing itself is a jank mechanic, but phasing out, like things that you control that phase out, like Teferi's Protection
yeah.
or Guardian of Faith, is like up in power level. But phasing itself is a jank mechanic.
So let's go. Let's go see. We'll let Teferi's Pro pull it to see.
That's fair. Ingest. This is a jank mechanic.
Yeah.
Enlist.
Yeah.
This is also a jank mechanic. It's okay. It's a fun thing to do, but it's not. It doesn't do anything. 9 times out of 10, it's the most medium mechanic in the world.
True.
Like I've played a couple enlist cards, and they've all been like, I could probably be doing anything else with my time.
Okay, the next one.
Melee. This is like a commander thing, and
This was originally in Conspiracy.
yeah, I want to put this in like a B tier because I think like there's the one commander that gives all your creatures melee, and that card is ridiculous. And when it's on the field, it like single-handedly wins you the game. And that's off the back of melee.
Yeah. And like there's other cards that just synergize. Like I mean, like it's Commander, like if you're running melee in Commander, you are running melee in Commander. You're attacking everybody.
Yeah, and it's also like a controllable Bushido.
Yeah.
Which like just makes it better. Like Bushido was already okay, but not really because the card pull was bad, right? And the melee was just like,
Yeah.
let's just do things a little better. Blood Rush. I think this
Oh,
is
boy.
an A tier mechanic because of the
Yeah,
cards it's
I
on.
love it. Yup. It's another one of those channel style abilities. It's uncounterable. The things that it's on are terrifying. The
+4/+4
cards
and trample is a
yeah, for 2
effect.
mana for a red and a green. Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't have a stupid sorcery speed restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Poisonous. Jake.
Poisonous is C.
All right.
I mean, it's
all right.
I think both half of Infect are just C.
Battalion. I think this is more of a jank thing because you have to attack with 3 creatures to get the effect.
Oh, but I mean the decks. I mean, look at Boros Convoke and the state it's in now. If there was a good battalion card,
I mean,
It would
Legion Loyalist is like the best battalion card,
yeah,
and it's
but
not good.
Yeah, but it's not good for Boris Convoke. They're all humans. I could go C with it and be happy. I could be happy with C.
I think it's jank. You gotta convince me to pull this up.
Fireman Avenger.
Not convincing me of anything.
Huh. Fine, we'll put it in jank.
Afflict. This is
I like this mechanic. I think this is B.
I have to say this is B. This is like a pseudo unblockable, but not really kind of effect. It's like if you block me, you get a negative, but the negative here is not crappy flanking or crappy the other one.
Direct damage to your face.
It is just do whatever the afflict is, and most of the time it's lose life equal to the afflict number, which is cool. Delve. Storm. Moving on. Provoke. This effect is bad.
I don't even remember what Provoke does.
Are you looking it up? Because I don't feel like messing up the word.
I am right now. Provoke. Whenever this creature attacks, you may have target creature defending player controls untap and block it if able. Hold on. This is jank. This is kind of strong in the right circumstance. If the cards that had it aren't crap.
Cards are crap.
Are the cards crap?
Cards are crap.
You can give all your... There's a sliver with Provoke.
Yeah, but that's slivers. Why not just make all your slivers unblockable and kill the opponent? Then you dealt with the creature anyway.
True. Okay, E is fine.
Will of the Council. Voting.
Where'd you put it?
I want to put it
C?
C or B.
Okay, I want to do this one C because Villainous Choice is just better.
I agree. I like Villainous Choice as like a B. I agree. I can see that.
Because all like in voting, like what's the one like will board wipe or I'll draw 3 cards? Like, okay, like draw 3 cards, whatever. Villainous Choice is like, do I want to sacrifice a creature or give you a 10/10?
Yeah. Splice into Arcane.
Okay, this is from original Kamigawa. All of the mechanics in that set are weird. I like Splice as a mechanic better than C. I think it is B because the idea behind the mechanic is good. They were just too scared to put it on anything too good.
Okay.
I think if we went back and redid Splice, it would be better. They would put better effects on it.
Forecast, I think, is jank.
Forecast is the one where during my upkeep I show you the card and I get a weaker version of the effect.
You get something. It's not always the effect.
Yeah. That's fine. Jank is
Doctor's Companion. This is just a version of Partner.
Okay, but I think this one is different. I think this one needs some discussion because the way that it's worded made me angry.
I think it's a B because I don't think that I think it's too narrow to be like generically good.
Yeah, because the wording on it is you can have 2 commanders if the other is the doctor.
Yeah.
But like the way that kind of reads is like originally it was like, well, if my creature is the doctor, so I just have to have a doctor creature so I can use Morophon and have a doctor's companion because Morophon's technically a doctor, because this is some weird Yu-Gi-Oh nonsense where the card has to have doctor in the name.
Yeah.
And so I think this is worse than background. I think this is worse than background.
I think this is a B.
I'm good with B. Background's an A. I think this is a perfectly solid B.
Retrace, I think, is a tier mechanic. Discard a land, get the thing back. I think it's good enough that when you're flooding, it helps solve that issue. And that's something that is always going to be good for the game. As long as the card isn't the most busted card in the universe.
You never really see Wrenn and 6 Ultimate, but when Wrenn and 6 Ultimates, that's the game.
Yeah. Jumpstart.
I love Jumpstart.
Conditional flashback.
Yeah. Well, it's
I
just
think this-
discard a card.
I think this is B.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Totem armor. I think this is a B tier mechanic. I think the design was
I agree.
a concession to how powerful Annihilator was at the time, and that was it. And then it became an okay mechanic after that.
I mean, it's shield counter on a permanent.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with I like totem armor, but I like shield counters too.
Flashback. I want to put this in A. I think flashback is goated.
I agree.
It's not as powerful as like a storm list, but I think it's still one of the best mechanics we've had, and that's why we consistently see it repeated over and over again. Embalm, I think, goes in the same place as Eternalize, which I believe was B.
Eternalize makes them white. Embalm makes them black zombies.
I don't remember if they
Eternalize
changed
is in
color.
B.
I don't know, but I think it's still a B mechanic. I think it's all right. Persist.
Worse than Undying.
Yeah, I think this is a B tier mechanic. Undying is an A tier.
Undying in A. Yeah.
Yep. Threshold. I think Threshold is very fun, and we're getting more of it. I think it's like an A tier mechanic. It's one of those things that's easy to play around. You can play Graveyard Hate and get people off Threshold. It's something that you don't necessarily have to manually pay attention to. You'll naturally get there throughout the game, and it's not like I need specific card types in order to use the Threshold. I just need 7 cards in my graveyard.
Okay, Eternalize makes it a black 4/4 zombie. Embalm just brings it back as a
copy.
white zombie.
It just makes a white copy
with
of it.
no mana cost. It specifically states it doesn't have a mana cost either.
Yeah, but I still think Threshold is an A tier mechanic.
Yeah, yeah.
Companion. This is one of those storm mechanics because it changed the format that it was in my opinion.
They had to. It is the first time that a card has not been played the way it is.
Yeah,
or a mechanic has not been played the way it was printed.
This mechanic got errated, and it was still too powerful for formats.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, how many companions are banned? Like in multiple formats?
Yeah. Soul Shift E. This effect's
crap.
terrible.
I don't know why Orzhov gets crappy mechanics, but by God, do they?
Mutate. This is the most fun mechanic I've had that is a jank mechanic, so I'm putting it in C. Like, this mechanic is so fun to play with.
I will let you have C simply because of the Scourge of the Skyclaves exploit. I call it a combo, it's an exploit.
I like that Mutate is the only effect in the game that alters the text box of the card that stays when you copy the creature. Yeah. It's the only type of effect that you can copy your creature that you have mutated on. You get everything that you've mutated onto it on top of the copy. So I like it. It's a lot of fun to play with. So that's where I'm just like, it's a little higher than jank for me.
You can have higher than jank because the Scourge of the Skyclaves exploit.
Vadrock is fun. Anyone play a Vadrock deck? That's fun.
He has negative power in the graveyard, so when you copy him or when you reanimate him, he counts as negative power.
Intimidate.
We've talked about it's worse than Menace. I think it's strong B tier just because it is the same color. I think it's better than Fear. I think it's just as good as Fear. Like, Fear is one thing because it wants to be like it calls for a specific color, but Intimidate is the same color. So I'm fine with putting Intimidate in B with Fear.
I think Scavenge is a C ability. I think that it was close to jank, but I think that there are cards with Scavenge that are ridiculous. I think Varal's kind of single-handedly makes Scavenge like really good.
The bug, the big beetle that scavenges for 4. He was good. The 1/1, the Slitherhead, the green black hybrid 1/1 that scavenged for 1. I think he's the 1/1/1 counter for 1 is fine. I think whatever you said, C is fine.
Yeah. I think Council's Dilemma is another C tier mechanic, but only because it's really only seen on one card.
Yeah, it's Tivit.
I'm sorry. No, is Tivit's Council's Dilemma or Will of the Council? Tivit votes. Yeah. I can't remember which one it is. I thought it was Will of the Council on Tivit, but Council's Dilemma is really only seen on Council's Judgment.
Yeah, it came out in Conspiracy. It's apparently there's a card called Capital Punishment that has it.
Meh, I don't care.
Starting with you, each player votes for death or taxes. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Okay, so the difference is Council's Dilemma affects everyone else. Will of the Council affects you. Well, it's just for you.
Well, Will of the Council is everyone. Everyone votes.
Well, everyone votes, but the effect only affects you.
Yeah, which is why Tivit is Will of the Council.
Yes.
And then he gives you an additional vote.
Yeah. Plea for power is starting with you. Each player votes for time or knowledge.
Yeah.
If time gets more votes, you get an extra turn. If knowledge gets more votes, or it's tied, you draw 3 cards. Yeah. So the difference in all the voting ones is who it affects.
Yeah. Council's Dilemma is really only seen on Council's Judgment, which is the 3-mana white spell that exiles the target that's voted for, and anything that's tied with it. Disturb, flashback for creatures. I think this is a fun mechanic. I want to put this in B.
It's flashback MDFC creatures
or
flashback transform creatures. I think
it's a B.
C?
A B.
I like B. I can go B happy. Some of the disturb creatures are just good. Like, and if you can get that stupid enchantment to go off, it's fun. Yeah.
Escape. I want to put this in A.
I agree.
Because the Titans are fire.
I mean, Polykranos, Pelukranos, whatever you want to call him, he's really good too. I like Escape.
Uro is a problem. Crocs is a problem. Flage is a problem.
This next one's Storm.
Dredge.
Right?
Dredge is Storm. Dredge is Storm every time. Any card that's good with Dredge gets banned. There's a reason. Craft. Craft is a jank mechanic because it doesn't do anything right now.
If Craft was at a sorcery speed, this would be fantastic.
Reconfigure, I want to put it in C because it's a fun mechanic design-wise.
I could go B with this because some of the reconfigure creatures are fantastic. The stupid little lizard blades, the white sash, the lion sash. Lion sash is amazing.
Lion sash is good. It's just Scavenging Ooze in white. Then you have the one that makes you can't lose the game, your opponent can't win the game.
Yeah.
I just think it was like there's also the it's bestow but for artifacts, pretty much. Artifact creatures. So like I kind of want to put it in B because like the cards itself are worse than a lot of the bestow cards were.
Ooh, and Boomsader, let's go.
They didn't see a lot of standard play in their time. The Lizards did not see
towards the end of coming into Kamigawa. You get some red deck wins with Lizards in it.
Yeah, but you really got rare red deck wins with Rabbit Battery in it.
Yeah, that one too. That's another one though.
Recover. I don't even remember what this mechanic does.
Okay, I've already got it pulled up. Recover has a cost. When a creature is put into your when a creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay the cost. If you do, return it from your graveyard to your hand, or then otherwise you exile it. So Grim Harvest is 2 mana instant. It's a black and 1. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, and then it has recover 3. So it's like Dredge, but for a cost, and that card specifically. So if Grim Harvest is in your graveyard, you can pay 3 when a creature dies and put it back in your hand. Otherwise, you exile it. This is jank.
I'll say this is jank or E. Cohort. I think this
looking at one card, I think jank is fine.
Cohort. This is one of the ones I don't remember.
It is from Oath of the Gatewatch.
I should remember this.
It's a bad allies mechanic. Cohort. Tap an untapped ally you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
E. Worse than jank. Chroma.
It's just another one of those. It's just Sunburst, yeah.
Yeah, jank to me. Banding.
We did put Sunburst in jank. Chroma's just Sunburst. Shouldn't this be just as good as Sunburst?
There's a difference. There's a difference. What's the difference? I can't remember. Sunburst gets the counters. And then the other one You get the
Cards
effects
with
based on.
chroma require a count of the number of specific colored manas on the card. Reveal any number of cards in your hand. You gain 2 life. Chroma counts mana symbols. Sorry, Chroma is Chroma is budget devotion.
Okay, so jank because devotion's just significantly better.
I mean, but all Chroma does is just check
I don't like
devotion.
it. I don't like it. It checks devotion for the spell that has chroma.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually. You don't build your chroma count.
Well, you do, because so there's an enchantment. It's a 4-mana enchantment, 2 and 2 white. It has chroma. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each white mana symbol in its mana cost.
Oh, so these okay. I still don't like this. I still think this is a jank
okay.
mechanic.
The fact that it's target like that creature specific, I will go with. Primal Crux has it though.
I just don't care.
Okay.
This sounds like a jank mechanic to me.
Speaking of jank mechanics,
Boast goes to the jank mechanic. It's fun, but meh. No, it's like a janky, not really good build around card effect. Blitz. Henzi Toolbox Tori's fun.
is Blitz okay? So Blitz is just dash with
The
extra
creature
steps?
dies.
The creature sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So if we put dash at A, I think
think Blitz is C.
We put dash in B, so I think this is C because you lose the creature.
Monstrosity.
I love Monstrosity.
I think this was a lot of fun to play. I think this is a B tier mechanic.
Yeah, it's it's Monstrosity creatures were some of them were sizable. The effects that they got when you Monstrosity them were good. They
Storm Breath
more
Dragon was
power.
fun.
Yeah. And it's something to do with your mana late into the game. We got to remember that in original Theros, when we were doing Monstrosity, there wasn't like we would just come out of you win on turn 4. So there were more mid-range decks, and I think Monstrosity was better for that.
Banding. We're gonna put that in E because no one wants to deal with it. Ripple.
I think Banding's an A tier mechanic.
Ripple.
This is jank.
This is jank. Only one card has it.
And it's only good with like 6 cards.
Adapt, I think, is a C tier mechanic. It's one of those flood protection mechanics, but it's a +1/+1 counter thing, so it generally gets boosted by a lot of other cards.
But you can only do it once.
Yeah, and it only has a sorcery. But it gets boosted by all these +1/+1 counter matters effects. So it has a lot of play in a lot of those style of decks. So it's not like a jank build around me thing. Level up. Speaking about jank build around me things.
Well, okay, so I think that the classes, the enchantment classes that they did, I think those count as level ups.
Oh, if you're gonna put those in level up, then I'll boost this up to C.
Yeah.
So I think the classes are really good.
It's functionally the same mechanic. We have those new ones that are kind of like classes coming out with.
They are classes. They said they are pretty much classes.
Classes? Okay.
Yeah, they're jobs that the kids have, not the kids, but the animals have.
Yeah.
So they function as classes. Outlast. I think again this gets bumped up from jank to C because of the +1/+1 counter boost, and all these cards that Outlast generally tie into the +1/+1 counter theme somehow.
Yeah, and gosh, and it doesn't have. I mean, it has the stupid sorcery restriction. You know how I feel about the sorcery restriction.
Yeah,
but I think that's what stops it. Yeah, whatever you put it at is what I'm going to agree with.
I put it at C.
Yeah, the sorcery speed mechanic does that for me.
Party, I think, is okay. I'm going to put it in B, tentatively.
I'll live with. I can live with B. What was because we put outlaw in.
I think
put outlaw in C.
Yeah. Outlaw didn't have a lot of like payoffs for good payoffs for outlaws, whereas Party got like a whole commander deck based around it. That got a lot of good cards. And
there's a lot of Party thing. Like, yeah, I'm fine with that one.
Domain. I think this is an A tier mechanic. Yeah. Undergrowth is I think it's a jank mechanic. It's like one of the worst mechanics in its style
it's
of
like a
mechanic.
graveyard matters mechanic, but it only checks creatures. So I'm fine with jank.
Yeah.
What do we have next?
Decayed. I don't like this mechanic.
Oh, okay. I like Decayed just because I don't know, it's fun, flavorful. Like it the Jadar he makes you swing with the zombies that he makes because there's no point of having them stick around anyway. So I think Decayed is fun. It's funny, the concept, the how it works is fine. I think this, if you'll give me C on this, I'll be happy with it.
That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna go C. Coven. I'm also gonna go C. It
Yeah.
requires too much from the player to like actually take advantage of the effects. Metalcraft, I think, is a B tier mechanic, and it might be confusing because I said Coven
Coven requires too much.
but Metalcraft requires artifacts in
less.
general. So like
Yeah.
your lands can count, random artifacts can count. You don't want to have creatures with a different power, which is like what Coven does. And Metalcraft also, there's just better cards with Metalcraft.
Yeah.
Artifacts are just better than most other card types. So
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
Formidable. This is the larger creature one than Ferocious.
I think so.
I don't like this. I think this is like a C.
Was introduced if you its total power of creatures you control have a total power of 8 or greater.
8, yeah.
So it's your whole board, not just one creature.
Yeah, but I don't think the payoffs are that good card wise.
C, did you say C?
Yeah.
I'll go with C. I'm fine with that.
Incubate/incubator. Incubate, I think it's a B tier mechanic. I think it's a fun mechanic. It makes sense as far as Phyrexians are concerned.
Yeah.
Also recency bias.
And it's on
Sunfall.
one of the best cards in standard right now. Yeah,
Sunfall.
like it's on Sunfall. Like
Pack Tactics.
You can flip it at instant speed. It doesn't have summoning sickness on they can't like deal with the creature until you flip it and swing with it. Like you can flip it and block with it. Yeah, it's good.
Pack Tactics, I think, is a jank mechanic.
I am going to agree with that.
We already did Morbid, so we're going to just move that to the bottom. Roll.
I like rolls. I like rolls a lot. I think this is a B mechanic.
Tell me why.
They're enchantments. They count as permanents. They count as their enchantment tokens. So they're 2 different card types. Most of them are beneficial. There's only the one bad one. There's never been a time that I have been stuck with not the cursed roll and have been mad about it. I mean, Monstrous is +1/+1 trample. They're all +1/+1 and something. +1/+1 scribe, +1/+1 or whatever the hero one does. I think the hero one's kind of janky, but like sorcerer is good. What's the other one? Wicked. I think Wicked is fantastic.
Okay, I accept B.
Good.
Phyrexian mana. This to me is a storm mechanic.
I agree.
Being able to pay 2 life instead of paying your mana is ridiculous. If anyone's played Kirik and Commander knows exactly what crazy crap you can do when all your spells have Phyrexian mana, and it makes it so that you kind of understand that printing more cards of Phyrexian mana is probably never going to happen.
Yeah, God, let me see what it is on a storm scale.
Like the only card I can think of off memory that we've gotten recently with Phyrexian mana is Omnath. And the only reason why it has Phyrexian mana is because you have to have 4 other colors to even cast it in the first place.
Phyrexian mana doesn't actually have a storm. Yeah, storm
Scale. Proliferate. I want to put this in A tier. I think this has always been a really fun mechanic. There's a lot of things that it works with. It just continuously has things to do. So
it's not limited to what it does. You could do any number of any things. It targets your opponents. It targets if it was like only permanents, like it would suck. If it was like one type of counter, you could only do +1/+1 counters at a time or loyalty at a time, it would be way worse.
I'm gonna put populate, which is the next mechanic, at B tier. The only reason I'm putting it at B tier is because you need the token. It doesn't do anything if you don't already have a token.
Yeah. Populate was a fun mechanic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It does do good things when you can play with it, but
It is a build around mechanic.
you need the token to start off your populate shenanigans, and that is the only reason why I don't think it's higher up on the scale. Amass, I think, is like a C tier mechanic because like
The cards that do it aren't that good.
Orcish Boardmasters is fire, but the Amass isn't why it's fire. The Amass is just how you kill the opponent from the rest of the effect of the card. So, modular, I want to put this in jank, but my heart tells me that it's better than that. But I think it's jank.
Modular is the one where when it dies, you move its +1/+1
Yeah.
counters.
So like the good card is Arcbound Ravager. It's like the only good card.
Ravager makes this C tier automatically.
That's fair. It literally is the whole like affinity deck like win con for several years. So
Yeah.
I guess I understand that. Living Weapon. Okay, I want to put this in C tier
It makes it 0/0. I'm fine with that.
because it's like the fixed equipment, and I think that like this is where equipment should be. Like the 4 Mirrodin equipments were better, air quotes, because
Only
they made the better
was
token.
better.
Yeah. But the cards with Living Weapon were better. Batterskull was just a better equipment, right?
Yeah.
But I think that Living Weapon as itself like was their first step into fixing equipment as a card type. And we've kind of seen them struggle with that throughout the years since then. They're like, let's make for Mirrodin. Let's make some equipment that come in already attached. Let's make equipment with flash that also comes in already attached. Gives your creature +1/+1 double strike and trample, and it's the best card in standard.
You leave alone. You leave alone.
Speaking of For Mirrodin, also goes in C, but that's only because the card quality of the cards with For Mirrodin is bad.
Okay, but I think it's B just because it's better than Living Weapon. I think making the 2/2 is better.
I think making the 2/2 is better, but Living Weapon is. I think Living Weapon is better because the quality of cards of Living Weapon is so much better.
So then we'll just
Bone
okay,
Horde,
so
Bone
we
Horde
just-
and Batterskull are just better than every For Mirrodin card.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll take it.
Transform. This is hard because this encompasses a lot of things. So like you have like your flip walkers, you have your werewolves, you have the natural just transform to the backside cards.
So it's a key action, and so this is we're not going to put the old werewolves in this. We are only going to do, let's talk vampires, let's talk flip walkers, let's talk the weird Eldrazi things and Eldritch Moon, things like that. Let's try to stick to the gods from Ixalan. Those are transform cards.
Okay.
The sagas from Neon Dynasty. These are all. I think transform is an A tier mechanic. I think it's just a fun way to make 2 cards in 1 card, but it's really only 1 card deck building wise.
Fair.
Did I say A?
I will go with A because I think it's one of those mechanics that are like defining the way we play Magic going forward.
It doesn't. It's not a mechanic that does something absurd.
Yeah.
Immediately, like it comes out and it does it doesn't do anything, but depending on what the constraint is to flip it is what matters.
Yeah. Surveil, I'm going to put in A. And the reason I'm going to put it in A and not in Storm with Scry, even though I think Surveil is a better mechanic than Scry, I think that Surveil we see in much less number-wise. Like, we see more Surveil 1 or Surveil 2, or there's like one Surveil 4 card, and it's a 6-mana creature with flash. So, like...
My problem with Surveil, and I think it's just a FOMO problem I have, is I don't want to just mill my cards out. I would rather, because like if my top card is like the One Ring and I have to surveil it because I need the land, I'm now putting my One Ring in the graveyard instead of just on bottom, because I can fetch land, shuffle, and get my One Ring somewhere else in the deck. But if I mill it, it's in the graveyard. That's just it.
I understand that, but like, there's things you want in the graveyard and surveil.
True.
Just,
And I think surveil, like scry is good in every deck. Surveil is good. It's
in
better
most
than
decks.
scry in decks that want things in the graveyard.
Yep. So like, I'm okay with being A because it is like more conditional, better than scry situation. But like, there's a card with scry that's like scry 3, then scry 2, then scry 1. You'll never see that in surveil.
There is what's the stupid Kozilek's command? It's scry X and then draw a card. Like, okay.
So you have flip here. Why do you have flip here when we already did transform?
I don't remember. It was worded as a different mechanic. Oh no, flip is because they changed the original. The Kamigawa original transform cards are now flip cards.
Oh, the
ones you
the
turn.
spin. Okay. Okay. Jank. There's only one of them that's good.
It's just but it's not. It's that is a Kamigawa problem. That's not a mechanic problem. As a mechanic, this is just the same thing as transform. It
was the precursor to transform.
Yeah, but I don't think that just because the cards are bad because of the set that came out.
Let's put it in C then. That's as far as I'll go.
I will take C. That's the problem with some of these old Kamigawa mechanics, because original Kamigawa block was so trash that everything was a legendary spirit. Like, it just sucked.
So I'm gonna put bolster, which is our next mechanic. I'm gonna put it in the C tier because
we already hit bolster.
Did we? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay.
I'm gonna hit it in the C tier because it's a fun mechanic, but it gets boosted by all the +1/+1 counter matters themes across the world.
Yeah.
And thus, like, it's less of a powerful mechanic on its own.
Bolster is like
your weakest creature gets more +1/+1 counters. Gets +1/+1 counters equal to the number.
But it's like worse evolve.
No. It's like it's more akin to support. Yeah. But like the thing about bolster is that a lot of bolster effects are like every end step style of effects. Yeah. So like Optimus Prime bolsters 2 at the end of everybody's end step.
And you can bolster. There's cards that have bolster at instant speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Time travel. I want to put this in jank because it's just if only really works with suspend.
Yeah, its whole purpose is to work with suspend. I think it's cool and it's a fun mechanic to talk about because it's the first mechanic we have that interacts with suspend. But yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Prowess. I want to put this. I think this is like an A tier mechanic.
You could push me to Storm if you wanted to.
I don't think I can push myself to Storm, but I think it's an A tier mechanic.
I will agree with that.
Fabricate is one of those mechanics that I think is like a jank mechanic. It's not very good.
When Fabricate was in standard, it was in a set where it like what Fabricate did mattered. Mm-hmm. Like, and especially now, it's you have the +1/+1 synergies. You have things that care about modified creatures. You can just make the 1/1 flyer. I think if you'll push Fabricate to C, I'll be happy.
I will push Fabricate to C because of Marionette Master, and that's it.
Fair enough.
Wither, C.
Right there with Poisonous.
Infect,
A.
Storm.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Storm.
Okay. Yeah.
Cut your life in half, and I only gotta deal 10 to you. I can do math.
And I permanently shrink your creatures.
Yeah.
And it doesn't specify combat damage. Toxic specifies combat damage. Infect does not.
Mm-hmm. Read Ahead, I want to say, is an A tier mechanic. I think it's one of the coolest things they added to the new Saga type, and I think it just fits perfectly.
I agree. I like Sagas as a card. I think that was a cool card idea when they did it. I like just being able to skip the first mode if you don't necessarily need it. I think it just gives the cards more value, and that's fun.
In Rage, I want to go with C, and the only reason I'm not putting it in Jank is because there are some good dinosaurs.
There are some very good to me. In Rage is like the great value version of what Nadu is doing right now.
What Nada's doing to me, enraging me.
Yes. I like Enrage. I think there are some really good ones. I do have a commander deck with the Polyrapper Infinite, so I like dinosaurs.
Experience, I want to put it in B because I like this wide berth of effects that it accompany experience counters. Like there's the Azuri, there's the Daxos, the great black white one. There's Mariner Clan Neltoff. There's a new one. Yeah, I want to put it in B.
I'm fine with B.
I just like how full that mechanic is of different ways to build around it, and I think that's fun.
I mean, player counters are fun. Like, there's 3 kinds of player counters, and I think 4 kinds of player counters.
Yeah.
Kinship.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't remember either.
I want to say it's Jank. I want to say it's a Jank.
Not Kamigawa. It's for Morningtide creatures.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your upkeep, you can look at the top card of your library. If it shares a creature type with this card, you may reveal it. And then if you do, it has some bonus effect. Honestly, with this being from the Morningtide block.
Okay, I guess I'm willing to bring up to see it, but I think that's as far as I'm gonna go because it's a good typal, like Kindred Matters situation.
Yeah, I like it. I like it there because it's still kind of random. You can still whiff. The effect might not be the one you want on top. Like, I'm cool with it. Rad
is a jank mechanic, but that's because you're milling everyone.
I disagree that it's jank. I think this is B. It's player counters. They do something. They impact the game. They can end the game. The fact that they don't always fall off is what's great too. I think you're just mad that you hit a bunch of radiation counters and milled a bunch of lands a bunch of times.
No, I think it's that. I think it's that, like, one of those things where I think that Rad, while it puts this illusion that it is helping the game progress, when in reality, it's not always doing that.
The things that, I don't know, because you're putting things in your graveyard. If I'm running a Rad deck, I'm running things that care about that.
I guess that's fair. Okay, so C. Meet in the middle.
It's more B, but I'll give you C.
Graft.
Don't remember the wording on it.
This feels, I want to say jank, man. I do.
Oh, moving +1/+1 counters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think jank is fine.
Energy. This is, to me, like,
this is a Storm mechanic. This is Storm.
I want to say A. I don't think I'm willing to go Storm.
I think with all the new energy stuff that we just got in MH3, that pushes it. Like, before, energy didn't have enough support to be good.
Okay, I guess I can agree with you. The new red drop is fine.
There's a 2-mana board wipe because of energy now. Like,
yeah. Champion. So this is your Lorwyn champion, your thing. I want to say this is jank more than it is E. I think this is.
I have to sacrifice a creature to play a creature. We put the.
But you get the sacrifice creature back when the creature dies.
Okay. We can go jank.
Mostly because Misbind Click is ridiculous. So
yeah.
Stun. We're getting pretty close to the end of the list. I think actually we have one more after Stun. So Stun. This is one of those mechanics that I'm gonna put at C. It's just the evolution of, like, the freeze style effects like Frost Titan used to do. But it's putting an effect name on it. But I think that right now we just haven't seen any, again, I think I spoke on this earlier, we haven't seen any really good cards with stun. Because, like, we have such good removal, and removal is better than tapping down your creature. So, like, I think it's interesting. Like, if we see a good creature body with maybe a type that matters, that ETBs and stuns something, Like I'm talking about the new frog. I think like stunning something for 3 turns and draw a card is almost the same as creature removal, and I think that stun itself is what you want in like an aggressive deck. You want to be like, I don't necessarily have to kill your creature. I just need it not to block for a couple turns and win the game that way. So like it's one of those things where if we get some good stun cards, this is going to go up, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think stun overall is a good mechanic. The things that it does are good. I think it's good to put words to things that haven't always, like, I'm waiting for anticipate to become a keyword.
Yeah. So inspired. I don't like inspired.
Inspired is when they untap, you get an effect.
I want to say yes. That's the
I
one.
believe, yeah. I think this is C tier. I think inspired is C. Just because you want to be attacking, and the creatures that have inspired, like attacking with them is just you're gonna deal damage and then get a bonus effect. And even outside of that, you can do some fun things where you can just untap it yourself and get an effect. Like I think that makes it strong C tier. It's a little bit better than Jank.
Okay, that's fair. So that's from that. Everything else are doubles. The last 4 are doubles. 5 are doubles. So
this is I apparently, because I've been doing it at the same time, I have 2 that you don't have.
What 2 do you have?
I have Renown.
Okay.
And I have completed.
Okay. So Renown is that +1/+1 counter one. I don't like it.
Renown is the one where when you deal combat damage, you get the +1/+1 counters. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it isn't Renown, it becomes Renown.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I think that one, like it being C, feels good to me because it exists. And
it does get boosts from other +1/+1 counter synergies. So yeah, C's fine.
And then the other one I have is completed. I put it on here separate from.
Oh, we already did completed. I already have it in here.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, we put it in C.
I think it's better than C.
I think it's like a B tier mechanic.
I do too. I think we should move that one up to B.
Yep, I moved that one up to B.
Getting planeswalkers for cheaper, like just to have like planeswalkers are balanced around their numbers, their loyalty. So just getting a planeswalker for cheaper that is just as balanced as it would be higher, I think is fine.
Yeah, right now we did early on. It's in the C right now.
Oh, okay. I just missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's our not exhaustive but dang near exhaustive.
It's like
keyword tier list.
Keyword tier list. Like I mean, there's no reason to put all the evergreens in here. There is nobody else doing it at this point in time. I just got a message about Destiny 2, so that'll be fun. But I think I'm pretty happy with what we've come out with here. This was fun. This ended up being very fun, actually. It's fun to talk about the mechanics as they are and not in a weird, like, well, this card's bad because it has this mechanic on it, but it doesn't really. This is like, this is what the mechanic is. This is what it's supposed to do. There's some cool cards that have it if we need to talk about them for tiebreakers. I think this came out. This is a lot of cards, and it feels good.
Well, let us know in the comments how you guys felt about this one. But we've been recording for a while, so we're gonna go ahead and stop that.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long one. But I think we've done right by what this was the spirit of this. I think that this hopefully we get some people to fill it out and we can kind of compare about it and talk about what we have from our very small community of like 10 people.
Yeah. Alrighty, gamers.
Thank you guys, and we will see you on the podcast.